This is EBC Sports International, and here are this week's stories. University of Hawaii hosts the Diamond Head Classic College Basketball Tournament. Lakers start the new year not so happy with a loss to the Thunder. LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo lead ballots from NBA All-Star Game. Dakar rallied participants head out to the formal start from the first stage of the 41st edition of the race. Paragliding popularity soars as Hong Kongers seek urban release. Plus, Judo Olympian Colton Brown focuses on winning gold in Japan. Hello everyone, I am Aljamain Santos, bringing you sports stories from around the globe, and this is EBC Sports International. When people think of Hawaii and sports, images of surf and sand usually enter their minds, not indoor basketball. But for the 10th year, the University of Hawaii is welcoming college teams from across the U.S. for the Diamond Head Classic Tournament. Alfred Asinas has the report.
In its 10th year, the University of Hawaii at Manoa is the gracious host here at the Stan Sheriff, welcoming returning teams like Bucknell, Rhode Island, and TCU. And they would be joined by NCAA tournament familiar names like Colorado, Charlotte, Indiana State, and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. The Diamond Head Classic Tournament features a bracket format consisting of 12 games. Each team plays one game for all 3 days, regardless of the results. Day 1 highlights included an attempt by Hawaii's Rainbow Warriors to break its losing streak to the UNLV Rebels, but to no avail. Their final score, 73-59. UNLV would eventually join TCU, Bucknell, and Indiana State to the semifinals on Day 2. Day 2 brought added excitement as Hawaii moved to the consolation finals by beating Colorado in overtime, while Indiana State and TCU advanced to the championship round. In the end, TCU came out on top as overall champions, with the final score 83-69 against Indiana State. And even though hometown favorite Hawaii won the consolation finals this year, it has yet to win its first Diamond Head Classic tournament. Meanwhile, preparations are already underway for next year's Diamond Head Classic, as the University of Hawaii will welcome teams like Portland, UTEP, Georgia Tech, Houston, and Washington. Reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, I'm Alfred Asinas, 1 with 25.
Thank you, Alfred. From college hoops, let's jump to the NBA, where the LA Lakers were hoping to start the new year with a win at home. But the Thunder had other plans, as Paul George led Oklahoma City in handing the Lakers their first loss of 2019. Our Southern California correspondent, Jaina Palasigi, has the story. Jaina?
The Lakers host their first game of the new year against Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder. With James and Rondo still out from injury, the Lakers aim to start 2019 with a win here at Staples Center. The Thunder bested the Lakers with a final score of 107-100 at the Staples Center. Even with the constant booing from the Los Angeles crowd, Paul George led the Thunder with 37 points. Russell Westbrook clinched his 11th triple-double of the season with 12 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 assists. Laker fans started heckling at George during the pregame introductions and continued booing the Southern California native on his every possession for not choosing Los Angeles in the free agency.
Yeah, I mean, I knew coming into it, it was no shock, no surprise. So it wasn't like I was being wild. I was prepared for it. It is what it is. I'm the bad guy, and that's fine.
You understand it? It's not like you ever specifically promised to came here.
Yeah, I mean, I have, other than saying I would want to play here, and I didn't choose to come here. I'm not the only guy from SoCal, from LA area that didn't decide to play here. You can go down the whole list of the line of guys from this beautiful city that didn't come here. So again, it is what it is. The decision's been made. No ill will. I mean, let's just be honest. The Lakers is one of the best, most historical franchises in the world. it is what it is. I'm with another good.
But when you hear people booing, does it give you a little extra edge and motivation?
No, it was fun. It was fun. I look forward to the second time of this season where I'll be booed, and that's in the Midwest. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. Regardless, the booing wasn't gonna, throw me off my game. I've been playing basketball for a really long time, and a little booing and a little noise is not gonna make me forget how to play basketball.
Obviously, you guys want Paul to play well every time he's on the court, but when he's getting booed the way he was every time he touched the ball at the start of the game, do you want that more for him to get going in an environment like this?
I don't know if that gets him going, but, yes. That's the answer. Yes. No idea, mate. Whatever puts a bit of lead on the pencil,
Despite shooting troubles, Russell Westbrook recorded his 115th career triple-double and showcases his versatility as a player in his position.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that he does. I thought he had good shots tonight. I thought defended really well. I thought he made some great passes. We had an opportunity to really get off to a great start in that first quarter. We had some good looks, some good passes, and we just couldn't generate any scores from behind the three-point line. But he generated a lot of good shots for us. And then I think the other thing too was he rebounded, and he defended on the ball. So again, with him, when he's not shooting the ball particularly well, there's other things he does as a point guard that can impact the game. So I think it speaks to his talent level, and how much, he's able to impact games just with his overall talent.
Although KCP led Los Angeles with a 25-point performance off the bench, the Lakers continue to struggle without LeBron James on the court. The Lakers dropped to 21-17, while the Thunder improved their record to 24-13 for their season. Reporting for EBC Sports International here at the Staples Center, I'm Jana Polisigi, 1 with 25.
Thank you, Jana. In other NBA news, four-time NBA Most Valuable Player LeBron James and Greek star Giannis Antetokounmpo led the first fan balloting updates for the NBA All-Star Game. Los Angeles Lakers star playmaker James tallies the most votes with 1,083,363 for the Western Conference frontcourt, while Milwaukee Bucks forward Antetokounmpo led the Eastern Conference with 991,561 votes in the first fan ballot returns. Voting continues through January 21 to determine the 10 starters for the 68th NBA All-Star Game on February 17 at Charlotte, North Carolina. James, a 14-time NBA All-Star and 3-time NBA All-Star Most Valuable Player, was followed in the West frontline by Slovenian 19-year-old swingman Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks and Golden State Warriors star Kevin Durant. Chasing a starting berth were New Orleans star big man Anthony Davis at 605-417 and Oklahoma City's Paul George on 580-55, with New Zealand center Steven Adams of Oklahoma City next on 261-327. Three-time NBA champion and two-time NBA MVP Stephen Curry of the reigning champion Warriors topped Western Conference guards with 793-111 votes, and Minnesota's Derrick Rose joined him in the backcourt with 698-86 votes. Antetokounmpo was followed in East frontcourt starting spot positions by Toronto's Kawhi Leonard and Philadelphia's Joel Embiid, a 7-footer from Cameroon. Boston's Kyrie Irving topped the East guards with 910-329 votes, and Miami's Dwayne Wade was second on 409-156. Up next, Dakar Rally participants head out to the formal start for the first stage of the 41st edition of this race. Paragliding popularity soars as Hong Kongers seek urban release. Plus, Judo Olympian Colton Brown focuses on winning gold in Japan. EB Sports International will be back in a moment. Welcome back. You are watching EBC Sports International. I am Aljamain Santos. In Peru, Dakar Rally participants head out to the formal start for the first stage of the 41st edition of this race. Ready, set, go. Dakar Rally racers head to the formal start line. For the first time ever, the race will take place in one single country, Peru. On the menu for the 334 vehicles registered are 10 states, 5,000 kilometers of which most is 100% sand.
Il faut que je termine, hein. C'est plutôt un objectif plus qu'un espoir, il faut aller au bout, donc je me suis préparé dur, je me suis préparé longtemps pour ça, donc au jour d'aujourd'hui je suis prêt et voilà, j'ai hâte de commencer.
Porque me gusta mucho, vine desde las 5 de la mañana estoy acá, ya es cuarta vez que vengo a ver el Dakar, siempre que ha sido el Dakar en Perú he venido.
From the sands of Dakar, let's go to the bustling city of Hong Kong. Although renowned for its skyscrapers and dense housing blocks, the steep mountains that crown the southern Chinese city offer a wealth of outdoor opportunities, including paragliding. The sport is catching on, giving people a chance to escape the dense urban sprawl below. On a mountain slope overlooking Hong Kong, Giovanni Lam waits for the right gust of wind to send him soaring skywards. One of a growing number of paragliders using flight to escape the dense urban sprawl of the city. Lam says patience is rewarded in paragliding. Lam, a university lecturer and youth counselor, brought 3 novices and heavy equipment on a 40-minute mountain trail hike last month, with the group waiting 2 hours in the winter chill for the weather to turn. Once the clouds dispersed, revealing a rolling tapestry of parkland below, Lam ordered his tandem protege, Keith Young, to walk against the wind as he pulled on lines attached to the canopy behind him. Within seconds, the glider caught the breeze and the duo took off. Lam says that Hong Kong is very crowded and there are always many people wherever you go. But once you are off in the sky, you are free. It feels like there are no chains or constraints. With most young Hong Kongers priced out of the city's eye-watering property market, often living with parents in cramped flats well into their 30s, paragliding is one of a number of outdoor sports that offer release from the stress of the concrete jungle below. Lam hopes the sport will help his students gain a different perspective on the city they live in. With his feet firmly back on solid ground, 22-year-old first-timer Young was exhilarated. Young said, "The view is very different from what we see on the ground, or even from hiking up a peak. It's like leaping into a new world." While Hong Kong is renowned for its skyscrapers and dense housing blocks, the steep mountains that crown the southern Chinese city tower over any man-made structure, giving it a wealth of hiking trails and outdoor opportunities. Lam explains that paragliding has steadily caught on, from just a few dozen pilots a few years ago to some 200 active members today. The 44-year-old Lam first tried paragliding in Bali and has leaped off mountainsides across Asia. But his favorite destination is still Hong Kong. He rates it 5 stars for difficulty with fast-changing tropical weather and small landing zones, making it both a challenge and unforgiving place. The sport is not without its dangers. In July, experienced Hong Kong paraglider Patrick Chung Yuk-Wah, a friend of Lam's, failed to come back from a flight during squally conditions as a typhoon neared the region. With grim weather conditions setting in after he was reported missing, it took rescuers 5 days to locate and retrieve Chung's body. The sport also debuted the following month at the Asian Games, where an Afghan athlete suffered a spinal injury and a Chinese competitor broke a leg in separate crash landings. Hong Kong has 8 approved flying areas for paragliding, but pilots fear the sport's growth might be limited by pressure to build on parkland in a city with a major housing shortage. Hong Kong has 8 approved flying areas for paragliding, but pilots fear the sport's growth might be limited by pressure to build on parkland in a city with a major housing shortage. 2 landing zones within the designated flying areas have recently become unusable because of urban development. Lam says, "We can't fly without landing. It's a pity that Hong Kong attaches a lot of weight to development, especially property development. It's important that we treasure what we have now." Judo Olympian Colton Brown focuses on winning gold in Japan. That's next, when EBC Sports International returns. Thanks for staying with us. You are watching EBC Sports International. I am Aljamain Santos. The 2020 Olympics is just around the corner. It's not surprising that athletes around the world have their eyes set already on Japan, the host for these upcoming games. EBC gets up close with American Colton Brown as he focuses on winning gold in judo.
Champions are not made overnight, but instead over a lifetime of sacrifice, commitment, and determination. When everyone's going one direction, a champion must go the other to pursue excellence, precision, and legacy. This judo Olympian describes growing up as a teen and how his camp is preparing him for the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan.
I'm Colton Brown, originally from New Jersey, 2016 Olympian in the sport of judo and a 4-time world team member. I've been doing judo for 20 years. I started when I was 7 years old at a place, Cranford, New Jersey. Cranford Judo Karate Center under the instruction of Sensei Ionesco, who's no longer with us. So when I got serious in judo when I was about 12, and I started to like judo, so I didn't like judo at first. So when I first started doing judo, I thought I would like it, but I didn't like it, and my dad kind of kept forcing me to go. So as a kid, nobody likes that. So I didn't really like it. And then I began to like it at 12. I won my first tournament. I went down to Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for the Junior US Open, like the Junior National Tournament. And I ended up winning. And I think that made me like the sport. So I don't know if I liked judo initially or I just liked winning. When I became 14, it kind of got to the point where my friends were starting to go out and everybody was hanging out at the movies. And I used to have to practice on Friday nights and Saturday mornings. So I had to make a decision. My dad was like, you have to make a decision. Either you want to go out and hang out with your friends or you want to practice and get better. He's like, and as a kid, you don't really see it. You're like, oh, yeah, I kind of want to hang out with my friends. I don't care about this that much. I can miss one day of practice every week, but that adds up. And he instilled that mindset in me from an early age. Now, you fast forward 10 years, I'm at the point where all my friends are still going out to brunches and doing all this stuff, and I'm in a different country somewhere competing or cutting weight. But I don't think if I wouldn't have made that sacrifice back then, I don't think I would be that disciplined now. I don't think I'd be in the position I am now. And we have the rest of our lives to do things like that. So I can go out and do whatever I want when I'm done with judo. But right now, I made the conscious decision then, and I think it's helped me tremendously now.
My name is Jeff Brown. I am Colton's dad. I work with him on judo and helping him develop his judo. We're going in with the core belief of if we can find the right training partners for him that are going to challenge him, that's kind of what we want to do. I believe he's a player that works off of muscle memory. So I want him going against the toughest guys.
My philosophy on any sports-related exercise is mimicking the movement of the sport. So if you look at a guy like Colton that does a combat style, which engages man-to-man, he needs to be flexible in different angles, different planes of motion. He needs to have strength, speed, and endurance all at the same time. If he keeps a passion reason that he wants to make the team, he wants to win, he wants to be the best he has to be, that's going to keep him motivated through hard workouts and through rough nights. Number two, once he identifies distractions, he's going to understand that there's certain nights he can't party, there's certain foods he can't eat, there's certain days he can't take off. Being an Olympic athlete, trying to achieve that goal, he has to keep those two things at the front of his mind. If he keeps those two things, that combination will keep him strong and keep him focused.
Winning is the driving force that keeps Colton pushing forward, with his eyes set solely on the top of the podium at Japan in 2020. For EBC Sports International, this is Rod De La Paz, 1 with 25.
Best of luck to you, Colton. We look forward to seeing you in the Olympics. That is this week's EBC Sports International. Join us again next week for more sports news. Visit our websites at Eaglenews.PH, EagleNewsLive.com, and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I am Aljamain Santos. I am one with 25.